Good morning, Rose Creek Golf Course. Say I'm looking for a tee time about 9 a.m. on Saturday. Sorry, but I've got some bad news for you. We are closed due to snow. Snow? What are you talking about? It's October 11th today. You certainly don't have snow in Fargo in October, for crying out loud. Click. Okay, Greg McCullough, I really didn't receive that phone call, but that could certainly have been the case this year. 2 years in a row, we are getting snow in the early part of October. What is going on?
Global warming, Matt. Don't you know that global warming's happening?
I'm freezing, though.
I know, so am I. It's crazy. Last 2 years have been crazy in the fall. September was okay for a little while this year, but October was just awful.
Yeah, I tell you what, 2 years in a row. I mean, it's weird how the weather kind of changes like that. I'm hoping this isn't a trend. I'm sure maybe next year, hopefully, we'll be like 85 or 90 degrees all through November. But it's just kind of crazy. And then with the bad springs we've had as well, it was a very, very short golf season this year.
There's going to be a lot of frustrations from the wives and guys about, guys, you need to get out of here now. That time period where we all have, where it's 7 months where maybe we can spend a little time outside and apart, just got condensed to about 3.
Man, speaking of kind of getting away, it's just only 3 days away, and we'll be getting away here.
Really? Where are you going, Matt?
Where are we going?
Where are you going, Matt?
Man, we're sitting here. It is what today? Like November 8th, something
6th.
like that. 6th today?
6th, Matt.
6th. Oh, boy.
November
the days are just
6th,
flying by.
11/6.
And we are 3 days away from going into the beautiful temperatures in Pinehurst, North Carolina.
Have you looked at the forecast? Have you seen the black cloud effect on Pinehurst Resort when we're there?
All I know is I've looked at the forecast here for next week, and we're going to at least be 30 degrees warmer.
I don't think so one day, Matt. I think you got to look. I think one day we're actually about the same here as we are there.
Please tell me there's no snow.
There is no snow yet.
Okay.
For them. But now I haven't gotten on the plane yet either, so we're excited to go.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I believe there's 12 of us going. I know there's 12 of us going. And a couple guys have been there before, but there's 10 of us that haven't. So we don't know what to expect. We don't know what it's going to be like, but we're playing 5 of the golf courses, and we'll probably try to play a little bit more golf after that if we have an opportunity 1 or 2 days.
What are you most looking forward to on this trip?
I always like going on these trips with the people that we go with. I mean, obviously you're not going to go someplace where the golf isn't probably good. We've been to Bend and Dunes a few times, and this year we're going to go to Pinehurst. I always try not to look too much ahead of it and get too excited about it because you don't really know what you're going to get. But everybody who's told me about the resort itself and the golf courses said it's really good. So I'm excited to go. The forecast is the forecast. It doesn't really matter. The 12 of us that are going, we're going to have a great time.
I think I texted out earlier. I did hear that in Pinehurst, North Carolina, it's a warm 55
It's a warm 22 in the morning, Matt. 22 degrees one morning.
Oof,
frost delay? Suppose we'll have frost delays?
We'll
have to do a podcast from there and ask the superintendent about their frost delays versus our frost delays.
That's a good point. No, I'm totally excited too. I think this is the second year now I've been able to go with your great group, and it is a ton of fun with those individuals. And it's always cool, I think, going to different parts of the states and playing some different golf courses. I think seeing not only the different landscape and the different grasses and things like that, but also playing some of the golf courses of some of the great architects and some of the differences that there are amongst those courses. And so to go from the far Pacific Northwest last year, going down to the opposite side of the country, should be quite a treat.
And it's always fun, I think, to be able to play golf courses where the tour has an event. And obviously the U.S. Open has been at Pinehurst. Number 2, we're going to play number 2. And there was a redesign at number 4, and we're going to play number 4. And the U.S. Amateur was both there on 2 and 4. And actually the LPGA Q Series, their qualifying school, was just there and played 8 and 9. So we get a chance to play some pretty good golf. And it is amazing to me to have that many golf courses in a place where you can get on a shuttle and be 10 minutes away from the number 1 golf course in North Carolina, the number 2 golf course in North Carolina, the number 3 golf course in North Carolina, and 3 or 4 of them being in the top 20 in the United States.
When we're there at Pinehurst, are you going to allow me to look in your bag or at least give me your club selection on the par 3s?
I was kind of hoping we wouldn't have to get into this, But no, Matt, I'm not actually. I actually took all the paint off my numbers, so you don't know which club I'm hitting. All my head covers don't have numbers on them, and I changed out a little bit, so you really won't know whether I'm hitting driver or 3-wood or rescue or anything like that, and I will not let you do that. I'm going to make sure that my caddy covers it up and doesn't say anything. But if I do ask you about what you hit on the third hole, are you going to tell me?
I tell you, I'm going to be paying off your caddy. Of course, what I'm alluding to is you just mentioned the LPGA Q School was going on, and just recently, and there happened to be an issue as far as just that. As far as Christina Kim was involved, along with 2 other tour players. I think it was Kendall Dye and I think Dewey Webbers, I believe is her name. And a situation where one of the individuals had asked their caddy just that, as far as, was that an 8-iron or what was that? And Christina Kim had happened to see this whole situation. And Christina Kim's really been kind of put through the ringer, I think, in the social media. What do you think about that?
So. I think that is, obviously we play by a set of rules. Whether you agree with the rules or don't agree with the rules, that's another conversation. But there is a set of rules, and obviously there was a rules infraction there. You can't, it doesn't really matter. In any kind of event, you can't let that happen. I think one of the things, and we've talked about this, that has kind of gone awry slightly with us in scorekeeping and attesting and things like that, is players aren't paying attention enough to what's going on around them to really make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. You know what? It's not about calling them out necessarily. It's not about picking on them. It's not about anything like that. It's about, we have a set of rules. Let's follow them. So, social media is just, again, we need the next big thing in golf to happen so this can kind of go away, because every single morning you have 2 or 3 people who have just kind of just relentlessly looking for clicks. Obviously, they just relentlessly bring it up every single day on social media. So she did the right thing. She did what she was supposed to do. Let's not pick on her. Let's just move forward, and it's a learning experience for the other person or people, and let's go.
I think some people were criticizing her as far as because of the timing of it. I think, this occurred on the 17th hole. They started on the backside that day, so it was 10 holes later. Then I think she had pulled the players involved, and then also as far as the rules official, and just showed what occurs. And I think in defense of Christina Kim, I think part of it was, I'm sure it was a hard thing to do. No one likes
always
to call
is hard.
Yeah,
Correct.
no one likes
Always.
to call a penalty on someone, especially in this situation. And then the other thing too, I think, was just it's like, man, this is Q School. This has a lot of serious implications. I think she kind of felt that she didn't want to really mess with their round and have that sitting on them the entire time through the rest of the round. Some others would say, well, if they would have known about that, maybe their strategy would have changed otherwise. But nonetheless, it's kind of a pretty common rule for any avid player that you don't ask. That'd be part of asking for advice. And so I'm a little surprised, that they played a little, I wouldn't say naive about the situation, but the one even said that, it's so, almost made it sound like it's so common on the tour that it happens all the time. And I think some of the other players that were interviewed about that said, nah, that's not what we see all the time.
Yeah,
so.
I would have a hard time believing that they're asking about it. Now, like you said before, are they standing next to the caddy, or are their caddy standing next to the caddy, or sometimes, the players used to hide what they had or tried to a little bit. Now I think they actually, most of them, they're such good friends out there, the men's tour, and this isn't always the case, but they always know what they're going to hit without asking what they're going to hit. Is it a secret? Well, probably not, especially in this day and age where you can see every single thing that happens to everybody, and you can read their lips and you can do all that stuff. So I would doubt that that's common practice. That person should know better, in my opinion. Just like what happened 2 or 3 weeks ago with the senior ladies PGA deal, where the caddy was standing behind the player for 1.5 rounds, which I think is ridiculous. But players need to be a little more accustomed to what the rules are, and not necessarily wait for somebody else to tell them what the rules are.
Right. I think both women then were both assessed 2-shot penalties. One, the individual was the one that actually requested that information and sought out that advice. The other one was actually supposedly hitting her tee shot at the time when this whole transpired, but it was her caddy, who you're also then responsible for. You're a team, and so it was the caddy that basically offered up that information as far as what club she hit. So both were hit with a 2-stroke penalty. How much did that impact as far as them making it or not making it? Neither one did make it. I guess that's anybody's opinion there, but. Anyway, yeah, it was kind of a big deal for a few days, and so
if you're playing golf and you're playing in an event, and we don't all know exactly what the rule procedures are for every single rule, but as a scorekeeper, that is your responsibility to make sure that you are making sure that the person that you're keeping score for is following the rules. When that happens, we have to be a little less confrontational if that's being called upon us, because if we are and maybe we are, maybe we aren't, but it's part of that other person's job to do that. So if they are going to say something, we have to either abide by it, or at least have a reasonable discussion, which is probably unfair in this day and age, a reasonable discussion as to what happened, and then just move on. I mean, the lingering all the time, in my opinion, does nobody any good.
Right, and I think as you'd mentioned, I mean, that is her responsibility. So I mean, if she saw something like that and did not call it out, I would guess that she would be also potentially maybe disqualified, or what the penalty may be if someone found out that she willingly withheld that information.
That would be a very hard thing to prove, that she willingly did it.
Right.
Now, there's many conflicting stories that she did ask the rules official right away, about what happened. So I don't know. Again, obviously, when we have events, we don't have rules officials. It's us. So there's nobody out there that can help us at that time. But again, if you're playing if I was playing in a tour event, I would make darn sure that I knew what I could and what I couldn't do.
Right.
To the point of I would probably be completely the opposite. I'd be, we're gonna not get in anybody's way. We're not going to ask any questions. We're not going to do anything that may be construed as, this is what I'm doing.
Well, and some things, are complicated as far as when it comes to the rules of golf. Others are a little bit more clear cut. That's one thing as far as in the off season, I think that people could do is maybe try to hash up and get down as far as with the rules a little bit and figure things on out. There's a lot of great videos out there, I think, both by the USGA.
It's such inspiring reading, Matt. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I have a rule book in my airplane case, so when we're on the airplane, we can go through some rules if you want.
That's perfect.
That'll put us both to sleep really fast.
Well, what it's like, the rules aren't always necessarily to look to penalize you or others. I mean, it's a lot of ways. If you really know the rules, you can use them in your favor to get a better situation often, and people don't even realize that.
And we have to play by rules, Matt. Agree?
Right.
We can't just not have them.
Correct.
And it's a
but know them well, because you might be able to.
It's a wide open game that's not inside, where you play consistently. You don't start over after every play or anything like that. So it is a little different in that respect. But we have to know there has to be rules. I mean, there has to be. They can't just be a free for all.
Correct. Without rules, it's anarchy.
That's
telling
right.
you.
Chaos.
The other big story, it seemed like this week, that's kind of come on out, is the whole deal with Phil. Was he going to fall out of the top 50? All right. And unfortunately, in the last event here, Phil did not play quite well enough, and so he is now 51st in the official world golf rankings. And when you look at it, it's really pretty impressive.
Unbelievably impressive.
26 years. That's how long that streak, spanning over, 1,353 weeks. So it's the longest streak ever since the introduction of the official rankings in 1986. So 23 years he stayed within the top 50. I mean, that really kind of shows, his longevity, being able to play at a high level. And I don't know, what do you think? Do you think, is he going to be able to get back within the top 50 once again?
I think with the way they do that, I think if he had a one or two good majors, and that's a big question mark whether he can do that. But I think getting back in the top 50, as long as you don't fall too far, well, it doesn't really matter. What was Tiger? Was 1,335, and he finishes 10th and wins, and all of a sudden he's 4th. So obviously there can be big swings there. Phil is at the age that it gets harder. I mean, it just gets harder. There's new, not only for yourself and what the amount of energy it takes. And I know Phil reset his body and he looks great. Maybe that's not a good thing. There's lots of players that have tried to reset their body and went backwards. Well, is this why Phil went backwards? He said it's more his mental outlook, but whenever you get to a certain point in your career and you start to change your body type, I think it becomes really hard, even though it's probably better for him in the long run, physically and just general well-being. I don't know. It's hard to go from where he was to where he is now. I mean, the prime example that I always look at is David Duval. Yeah. David Duval was, just an average egg-shaped guy, and he went to being like almost a bodybuilder type guy. Tiger Woods' body has changed, not as much, but they all change a little bit, and I think it becomes hard to swing the golf club the way you're used to swinging it, especially at that level. I mean, look at the scores being shot. Look at how good supposedly everybody is coming out, and it's hard to keep up that every single year. Top 50, I think he can get back in the top 50. Top 10, that becomes a whole different story, I think.
He doesn't seem like he's ready to reside playing with the old folks on the senior tour.
No, and he's quite a ways away from that, though. I mean, that's a long time for him between now and when he turns 50. That's a long time to wait. So you see, every single year if you turn on the Champions Tour and you see guys that, oh, wow, he just turned 50. Well, you understand now why he's been trying to play as much as he can on the regular tour sporadically or keep a place to play. So when you do turn 50, for some of those guys, they have to be like that to get a spot. Phil obviously will have a spot when he turns 50, but he still has quite a long period of time between now and then.
Yeah. I'm not sure how old Phil is right now. He's got to be knocking on the door, isn't he?
No, I don't think he's as old as you think he is. I was
right?
going to say he's 43 or 44. I mean, that's still, that's still quite a ways from. I mean, it's not, but in terms of golf, I mean, that's 5 seasons,
right?
Where he's got to try to play with, the younger 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 23-year-olds that every year they come out.
Well, I imagine with his majors and with all his other victories, he must have some exemptions to play for a while. So I imagine he's still got to get a chance. But
you're correct. Phil's 49. He actually does turn 50
so he
in
is
June.
Knocking on the door.
He is knocking on the door. So I thought he was younger than that.
But I still don't know if he's ready to reside to the Champions. I think there's still a little bit left in the tank for him. He didn't have a real inspiring year this year, but I don't know. I just think that
will he win again on the regular tour?
I think he will. I think he's going to win on the West Coast this year.
So you think he's going to win at Pebble?
Maybe so.
Okay. You heard it. Now it's out there on the internet, Matt. You can't take it back.
I made so many bad predictions. This is nothing.
I suppose you could edit it out. That won't happen. Oh gosh.
I'm the weatherman of golf predictions.
I do not think he'll win this year. So that'll.
Well, you got a better chance of that happening than I do.
But why?
Well, there's a lot of guys out there that are really good right now.
Yeah, but he's a world-class player. Just ask him. He's into social media now, so maybe that's taking away his time.
So we got another big event coming up in December. Man, this seems late for a President's Cup.
I thought so too.
We're into December, and I don't know if that has to do with the scheduling as far as in Australia with their golf tour or why that is so late.
Probably, because if they play in the States, their issues are probably the weather.
Sure.
If they played in December, it'd be a little hard.
Right. True.
I mean, maybe.
So, but, we've got, we're sitting, I think, one day out from the captains making their last 4 picks. And, of course, I've been hearing about this for, a couple months now of who are they going to pick.
Couple of years.
Yeah, maybe so.
Is he going to pick himself? Do you want him to pick himself?
You know what? So I was talking to my daughters about this the other day. And I said, if you would have asked me this probably 6 weeks ago, I said, no, he shouldn't pick himself, and no, he's not deserving of it. I've totally changed my idea now.
Why?
He's played very, very well.
He hasn't played in 4 months. He played one event in Japan with a weak field that was limited numbers. Granted, he won. Don't get me wrong. It's still an amazing feat, actually.
I think he's starting to roll it again good.
Oh, my God. Please, Tiger Woods, do not pick yourself.
Not only
Let's get some young people in here. We've talked about this before. Why do we have to have the 45 to 50-year-old people in there?
because we talked about who's playing well, and Tiger's playing. He's hot
played
right now.
one time.
He's hot.
Yeah, but it's
HOT.
you still have 5 weeks before the event. He won't even play it again since then.
He'll play in a couple team events, and then he'll play in the.
Well, he'll play if he picks himself,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Well, maybe not, though.
I think he'll play in at least one or
Do
two
you
team
think he'll
events.
pick
and then-
himself?
Oh, without a doubt.
I don't think he will.
I think he's going to pick himself. So after he picks himself, who
So
else?
does he pick Freddie Couples then, too? Does he pick Steve Stricker then, too? So we have all the captains playing?
You know what? That's not a bad
That
idea.
might be the only way that the other team can win, is if he does pick himself.
Okay, give me your top 4. Who's the 4 picks?
I don't know. I don't even know who's up there.
I think
I don't know who's qualified. I haven't looked at the numbers.
I like Tiger, Gary Woodland.
I would like Gary Woodland.
I'm trying to think of who else. I would like to see Kevin Na,
I would love to see Kevin Na.
and I'm not going for Fowler. I like Ricky Fowler a lot, but that's a guy who hasn't played forever. I don't think.
He's not played very well. He didn't play very well this. Well, did he? I suppose he won somewhere, but didn't seem like the last half of the year he played very well. And it's hard because we set those guys up to a standard that's impossible to
Right.
keep going. You know, if they don't win 4 times, they had a bad year.
You know, you've got guys that in the discussion. I think of like Tony Finau, Kisner.
I would love to see a team all under 40. I would love to see a team. Well, obviously the point guys might be. I would like to see all the picks be guys under 30. I think that should be a rule. Let's put that rule in. Guys got to be under 30 to be a pick.
Do you think it's going to matter either way who he picks?
No. I mean, on paper it doesn't matter. I mean, this is the biggest blowout event that they have every other year, which surprises me a lot. I thought it would be more competitive, but it just has not been competitive at all.
Yeah,
At all.
that is a little surprising, but
So you say he's picking himself, and I say he's not.
he's picking himself.
All right. I hope he doesn't.
I'm wondering though. So how does that work? Is he going to have to pick a 5th guy? Is Koepka going to be able to play? How bad is his injury right now?
Yeah, I don't know. How do they do that? If the guy can't play, do they get to pick another guy, or do they just go with one less guy? They put his name in the envelope, and he doesn't get to play the singles.
I don't know if it'd be similar. You know how the Solheim Cup was this year. They had to last
They
minute.
added. Yeah, I'm sure
add a
that there's a
girl.
rule that once
So-
they must have an alternate, third alternate. That would be okay for Tiger. He can be the 5th alternate.
How many alternates would they have to go before he,
Me and you?
phones me?
Oh boy. Wouldn't be that long, Matt. I don't think it'd be that long.
Yeah, right.
Because they'd see Cook, and they'd call the wrong Cook. They'd see McCullough. They could pick my secret uncle Mike McCullough, but he's like 90, so he probably wouldn't get picked. I don't think we'd get picked, Matt.
So are you looking forward to the President's Cup, or is it no big deal?
I'll watch it because it's in December and we're not working. Doesn't really get me going.
Yeah.
Should, because it'll be on a great golf course at a great venue, and they're the best players in the world. But I don't know.
That time in December, I'll probably be wrapping presents or shopping.
Oh, you'll be working. You'll still be working. You'll be answering calls. You'll be doing all the stuff you're supposed to be doing, like I should be doing, but won't be.
So does I think the one guy that hasn't qualified on the world team, I believe, is Jason Day. So is Jason going to be selected by
I hope
Captain
not.
Ernie?
Let's again. I'm all for let's. And this
You're
is
not going to pick the Aussie to go to Australia?
Oh, that would be awesome. Probably will get picked, but he hasn't played. He hasn't played very well. As soon as he took control of his life, he hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of behind the scenes that go on there that we don't know about, and he's had some family situations, and all the stuff that goes on in our lives that we don't really know about. But when he took over and he said, I'm in control, he has not been very good. And I don't think Stevie's really helped them as much as they thought he would right away. Maybe he will. What do you think? I mean, Stevie will tell him, you're really not very good right now. You need to practice more.
Right.
Maybe he need, that will be a help to him because he needs that.
Right.
Well, I mean, we all need that. I mean, those if you're playing professional golf, and I have not played professional golf really, but based on what I see, you have to be like that, and it's got to be about you, and it can't be about anybody else. And once life starts to take over, and which is normal, and it should, and family's great, it's hard to keep that intensity going for an extended period of time when the game's not that easy.
Does we've probably talked about this before, but there's so much money out on the tour now. Do you think for some of these younger players,
Yes.
does that kind of lose their
Yes.
enthusiasm? I
Yes.
mean, you hit a couple big events, you got a lot of cash in your pocket, and
Yes.
it's like, I don't need to try that hard anymore.
Well,
I'm set.
If you look at it, it takes such the effort and the amount of work to get to whatever that is. Whether that's Tom Hoagie making the top 125, whether that's somebody getting their first win, whether that's somebody getting their first major. We see the effort that it takes, and we know that they're totally involved in that. And then once they get that, and I think the money obviously is big, because without the money, right, it's no good. But once they have a place to play for a couple years, I think you see, which is good and normal. You see I'm not playing every week. I'm going to pick and choose. I'm going to maybe try to get better. Maybe that's a bad way to do it. It's hard to continue on for longevity, which makes Phil's top 50 in the world for that long pretty remarkable.
Well, I think, in this last event, I think, talking about how much money in there, I think Rory just made in the top 10. I think he's like 8th or 9th now as far as all-time career earnings on course. I think I looked at like the top 15, and I'm not sure what's going on with Vijay Singh right now, if he's been playing a little bit on the Champions Tour
Yep.
or whatever.
Every week.
But I think the other 14, well, so you include him then, I think all 15 are actively playing golf right now.
Yeah.
I mean, playing a lot, and so it's only going to continue. And, I think Tiger must be up there probably number 1 or 2, I think. And I think he's like 120 million career earnings. And I'd heard something the other day, and I'd looked it on up, and I think they were talking like Sam Snead's career earnings was like $680,000 or something like that.
I'm sure that people have done that. Let's equate those $1 to $1.
Right.
But there's no doubt that human nature. We all try to strive to be as good as we can and make that much money as we can, and then obviously once we get to that point, you have to take some time to relax, and maybe you're not working at it as hard, maybe you are working at it as hard, maybe you're trying to get better, which we talked about body changes that affected guys, we talked about guys who try to get better with doing what they thought they needed to get better, that's affected people. So it's a difficult deal. You have to love to play. Phil's loved to play. He loves to play. So that in that respect, he probably will win again. Where sometimes those guys, they don't love to play. They're playing because they're supposed to play. They're playing because they're awfully good at it. But eventually, you lose that. This is a game. Let's have some fun at it. And all of a sudden, it becomes a job. And when it becomes a job, once you get to that level, you're like, okay, I need a little break. Which they should.
Well, that's kind of, whether you like them or not, whether you're a fan or not, I would think any individual that that knows a little bit about golf has got to appreciate Tiger Woods.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I can't imagine anybody working harder and wanting just the will to win, not because of the chasing the dollars, but just simply just saying, you know what, I want to continue to become better and better and better. And you kind of alluded to that. I mean, not only probably the way his body morphed as well. I mean, he went from a scrawny 140-pound, 6-foot dude or whatever he was to being quite massive, some almost saying too big at one point. But just his work ethic and just constantly, like I say, chasing the wins and going through the swing changes that he went. I think not once, not twice, but I think even 3 times, some pretty major swings for him. And then all the off-course stuff that went on, falling to where it was almost embarrassing. It was embarrassing to now where, like I said, certainly he's not where he was at one point, but he seemed to at least be able to get back, and a win's a win. He was able to get back to winning once again, and that was pretty cool. And so it's, and and I'll get back to this in a second. That reminds me of my fourth pick that I actually meant to pick for the President's Cup, which I'll get back to in a second because it kind of goes back to this. But, you really got to appreciate that, and it's unfortunate that we don't see maybe. I'm not saying that it's not important to Rory, or that's not important maybe to, Brooks Koepka. Brooks has even mentioned also saying, it's all about majors. I want to keep getting majors. But just the idea of to continue to work on trying to perfect your game and get better and better, I think I have a lot of admiration for that. And
So who's your other pick?
So my fourth pick. So I forgot all about this. So Tiger's picking himself. That's one. Gary Woodland.
Okay.
Kevin Na.
I like it.
And one that everybody's going to say, no way, Patrick Reed. That's my fourth.
I don't mind Patrick Reed as a pick because he's a little bit younger.
I think he's got a real desire to win. I think he's a
Well,
real competitor.
He played better He got back at it and he played
Right.
a little bit. I mean, he's one of those guys where you look at that ebb and flow. And I'm pretty sure if you looked at all those guys' ebb and flows, there's things behind the scenes that go on with all of those guys that creates the ebb and flow. And again, you can't, no matter who you are, it doesn't matter what sport you're playing. When life takes over, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. And you're not getting a check. Golf is harder because you know what? You don't have to play. You only have to play 15 times, I think. I mean, think about that. There's 46 events this year, and those guys only have to play 15 times.
A third of the events.
So it's awesome. It's great. But we need to keep seeing those younger guys not just be flash in the pants. Matthew Wolff wins his first event, and where was he the rest of the year? Yeah. So is he that good? Probably. I mean, again, golf's hard, but those players, who's the next long-term winner?
And I think
because there has to be one, right? I mean,
Oh,
we
I
always
think
say
without a
there's
doubt.
never going to be
Right.
one, and there always seems to be one. Maybe we're in a period where there won't be one.
Yeah, it's hard to say, and maybe it's going to be a while just yet, but I'm sure everybody at one point that followed Jack said, there'll never be another Jack Nicklaus, and then sure enough, Tiger Woods comes along, and he's,
Right.
Probably arguably just about equal Jack, not of course in majors, but I mean, when you look at victories and what he's done, and probably no other better player in his era, in such a, so it's, I would guess that there's going to be someone come around sometime again that
There will be, for sure.
that's
It might
gonna
be me or
dominate
you.
the game.
Maybe we'll dominate the senior tours. We're both eligible, so we have that going for us. We can enter.
It's going to have to be like the super seniors, and
can't
I'm going to have to
can't
outlive everybody, and that's the only chance that I've got to dominate. But,
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Pinehurst.
Okay.
So we're playing 5 courses. Number 2, number 4, that everybody knows. We're playing number 6, number 7, and number 8. I don't know a lot about those 3. I've looked at them a little bit, but I don't know about them. If you're going on a trip this winter, and we're going this fall, and we're fortunate that it hasn't been too long since we've been open, but me and you also haven't played a lot going into it. So what are we doing right now? Anything? Are we trying to plan? I mean, other than getting our clubs packed up and sending them off, are you doing anything to get ready? Are you practicing your putting? Are you practicing your chipping?
I am.
Are you hitting your thumb with a
I am
nail
resting.
building deer stands?
I am resting,
Okay, you're resting.
icing,
Okay.
and elevating.
So I hear so many things about the greens there. I cannot. You asked me earlier what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm looking forward to. The green complexes at all the facilities, because that's all I hear about. I've started to follow some people just because we're going to go on social media and Twitter and that understand, that have been there, that are doing things and that's the one thing. It's not greens and regulation at number 2. It's greens visited. Did you know that? I've never heard that term before.
I did not hear that.
Yes, it's greens visited, right?
So that means your ball briefly
Because
visited and then exited?
Briefly was on it and then was off it. So I'm looking forward to see how hard that was. I talked to Van Holmgren, NDSU player. They played at Edgewood one day, and I said, "How's Pinehurst?" And the only thing he said is, "Hard, really hard." And we're playing now, Matt. Let me. We're playing number 2 together. So number 2, because one of our players wants to play all the way back, or as far back as they'll let us.
Let him.
Okay. Well, you're doing that with us. You didn't know about that.
Ouch.
You're the king of 8,000 yards.
Yeah, right. I know it. I've done it
Anyway,
once.
you don't have to. You don't have to. But I mean, I can't wait to get there to see what that is. From obviously that's too far. I'm not going to play that far back in any of the other places. I'm past that at my age. But it will be fun to play from whatever tees we play from and see how hard it is to keep the balls on and around the greens.
Well, I don't think I need to play the very back tees to find out how hard it's going to be. I know
Well,
how hard it's going to be. It's going to be brutal.
Correct. And I've told the 10, 12 players that are going with us, I said, it's going to be hard enough no matter where you play from. So play from a yardage that you feel reasonably comfortable. And if we have to adjust on the go, we'll adjust on the go. And that's one thing I like about our trips that we take. We all understand our games, and we're there to have, obviously we're there to test ourselves a little, but we're there to see it, and we're there to play a length that makes it fun if we hit reasonable shots.
Yeah, it sounds like, so most of the greens kind of almost like, from what I understand, are more domed, aren't they, for the
Yes.
most part?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think there's maybe some spots you can shoot at. There's a lot of places you do not want to try to fire at the whole location. We're fortunate for actually taking caddies on both 2 and 4. That I think will probably help a little. They unfortunately can't hit the shots for us, but they can give us maybe a little better answers as far as in our quest to try to visit the green.
And I've heard multiple people say at those 2 places, and I talked to Van as well, and a couple other people that have been there, and they said those 2 places for sure you need to have a caddy because they understand. You know, maybe like you said, you don't hit it exactly at the flag. You hit it away from the flag 20 yards, so you have an easier next shot. So I'm excited for the green complexes.
It, you know, when talking to Chris Croach, who's been there before, I think he's probably played 3 of the courses there, but he's also played some surrounding courses. And it's like he said, you get in that area, and he goes, "There's just no bad golf." You know, he said it's all really good. So it'll be interesting to see the similarities and the biggest differences, you know, between the 5 courses that we'll play right at Pinehurst. Some of the other things I'm looking forward to too is this is, you know, as we mentioned earlier, you know, we went on a fall trip last year to Bandon Dunes. I know you've been out there several times, but some of the other things, in addition to the golf courses, I think just being able to play, last year was called the Punch Bowl. I don't know what it's called at Pinehurst, but it's a
Drew Thistle or something like that? The Cradle?
Oh, Cradle maybe.
The
yeah,
Cradle?
Cradle, that sounds right.
Cradle.
Just a mammoth putting
Par 3?
course.
Yeah, well, they have
Oh,
both.
oh,
They have-
sorry.
that's okay. They have a 9-hole par 3, and they have a putting course, which all the new places that are getting built resort-wise are trying to do that, to have so you have a place to have fun. You know, there's not as many structured rules, and you know, everybody gets to hit wedges, and you kind of have a good times with whoever you're there with, which is really basically why you go anyway. So we're excited about. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, Matt. And you probably know a little bit about this. We have such a huge following on Twitter at What's My Tea Time. Did you know that we're now on Instagram?
I did not know that.
We are now on Instagram.
Oh my goodness.
What's My Tea Time is on Instagram. So what we're going to try to do is, me and you, we've talked a little bit about this. We're going to try to do short videos because we just found out in our marketing meeting that videos on Instagram are the bomb. Right? That's
good, right?
I think so. Maybe it wasn't meant that way. So we are on Instagram, What's My Tea Time. We're going to do some videos each day. They'll be shorter, and we'll try to, you know, we'll have to come up with a little bit of a format, but we'll kind of be there off and on throughout the 5 days that we're there with some fun things. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not an Instagram guy. Some people say I'm not a Twitter guy either, but we'll have to get out there and we'll see how much we can get on social media and to at least let people know what kind of a trip we have, because I'm sure that they're on pins and needles, worried about what kind of trip we're going to have.
This could be some good videos, some good pics and some good videos. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, just like last year, I've tried to do as little research on Pinehurst as possible. I like to go in there just kind of with a open slate, know already as far as ideas, expectations, or anything like that. It's hard. I mean, I've watched a little bit of the amateur, seen some of the professional events that went on there, so it's hard not to know a little bit about the history.
You don't
of
have
course.
your greens book all set up already and know what you're going to hit on the third par 3 on number 4 or anything like that?
The less I got going upstairs, the better. So I am, and I did that same thing for Bannon too. Didn't really go on the website at all. Didn't really look at a whole lot of pictures, and so I was like, wow, it floored me. So I'm really looking forward to it. I know I'm going to be amazed, but like I said, I've tried to do a little going into this as possible.
So we're leaving Saturday morning. So we'll start our stuff on Saturday morning, and we'll try to do things when we get there and kind of show the facility in a good light and kind of show the guys at when they see certain things or see certain shots as well. So we'll try to be out there as much as we can be while we're still trying to play and have golf too. So this is kind of a fun snippet deal. But you are on Instagram now, just so you know that.
Wow.
So you have to start following yourself. And we'll do our normal Twitter stuff and things like that. And if anybody's out there who happens to listen to this before they go, if you want to see anything or you have any questions as we go along, we'd be more than happy to do a quick snippet on it.
And I tell you, I would encourage anybody listening out there that maybe it's not Bandon, maybe it's not Pinehurst, but to get away in the off season if you can, do a buddies trip like these. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
And so if you've got any questions or looking for ideas,
If
give
you need
us
a
call.
third and a fourth,
You need a third and a
me
fourth.
and you are there, right?
Right,
If you yeah, again, that's a great point. If you need any help with setup or anything like that, please don't hesitate to give one of us a call. I've done it a little bit. I don't know a lot of different people, but at least at the bigger places, they do whatever they can to help you out.
Right. And it's and I think just to be able to get away and have some fun with friends, it doesn't have to be Pinehurst, it doesn't have to be Bannon, it could be wherever. I was talking to, I'd met going over some events for the summer with Roger Maris Jr., and he's like, yeah, I've never went to a big resort like that, but we went on a lot of buddies trips. And he goes, we're just all ultra competitive, so we could care less if we're playing out in a cow pasture somewhere as long as there's some dollars on the line, And so they do a lot of trips themselves, not to necessarily, huge locations or huge resorts like this. So I think wherever you decide to go, I think is going to be just awesome. But just
Could
to
be
get away and have
Omaha.
some fun. Right.
Right? I mean, it could be
Right.
from here to Omaha. I know you've taken trips to
Right.
Omaha. It could be here to wherever.
I thought you were like kind of putting down like Omaha. It could be Omaha. I
No,
really enjoyed Omaha.
Omaha's got great golf from what
They
I hear.
do.
So,
They
I mean,
really
that's
do.
That's a drive away.
Right.
You obviously have to look at the forecast and things like that. But it is a really cool way to kind of get away from your normal routine and hit it in your normal place and kind of look around and see what things other places do. I know me and you will always kind of look around and see what are they doing that maybe we can do here, or what, things like that. So we're excited, and again, we'll try to, as clean as possible, get as much out there as we can on our trip.
Well, I tell you, it seems like it's amazing as it's just getting down to the last few days. I know you started a countdown about 30 days ago.
I started my countdown at 213 days.
Okay, it's been a bit more active the last 30.
That's me. That's me. Once we got everybody involved, right, then it became way more active.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
The banter began pretty actively. And I'm not answering my phone right now. I got a call from one of the guys that was going with us this morning, and I almost didn't answer it because I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's going on. I don't want any ER trips, Matt. I don't want walk-in
Right,
trips. You've
right.
already done that, so your deal is done.
My thumb's down to
Bubble
just
boy.
about a size and a half of where it normally is right now. So it's the swelling's gone down quite a bit.
Yeah, you don't need that thumb anyway.
Oh, bonehead. All right. Anyhow, well, that's awesome. Anything else new and exciting?
This time of year, this is kind of our time of year to take a breath and go, okay, let's kind of just let this next couple, 3-4 weeks kind of go and get reacquainted with our home and have somewhat of a normal routine and schedule. So I've been pretty out of the loop a little bit. I've been at the shop doing a couple things, but mostly getting excited for our trip. So that's about it for me.
Me, I've just been kind of hanging out at home, watching Golf Channel.
Practicing.
Practicing.
Are we going to practice today?
You know, I was thinking of that. I was like, you know,
Let's go
we should go
practice.
over to Golf Addiction, and I'm thinking,
Yep, let's go practice.
I don't have my clubs.
I got clubs. Right.
Okay,
Yep,
perfect.
they're left-handed.
That's awesome. That's perfect. That's going to work better for my thumb anyway.
So, so as I said before, we'll kind of, and we'll do it on Instagram. We'll also put it on our Twitter page if we have some funny things that go on. Chris Croce is going with, so maybe Croce can give us some tips on how to do the greens visited and be a little better around the greens. And we'll see if anybody else has any smart insight on Pinehurst.
Awesome. That's great. Well, we'll have to do a follow-up following Pinehurst.
Yes.
And give everybody all of our experiences. And otherwise, I guess I need to stay tuned to Instagram and
Instagram and Twitter. Ready? You ready? You're
I'm
ready.
ready.
You're a
I'm
media
ready.
mogul. You're socially media mogul.
well, it's always great to visit with you once again.
All right.
Looking forward to Pinehurst.
See you Saturday.
Sounds good.
All right.
Peace out.